pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Oh, shucks. All you savvy investors out there, this is going to be another unique episode. It's going to be the rock and roll episode. That's right. At the end of this episode, you're going to listen and hear an incredible new song not released anywhere, just cut in LA. Is that right?
That's right.
It was just cut in LA, and we just got the legal permission to drop the track right after this episode interview, and I get to introduce this awesome star. His name is Shane Henry. He is a real rock star. Some people think that I'm a real estate rock star, whatever. I am humbled to be here, but this guy plays the part fully. Moved to LA, lived in LA, I tried to get him in the studio yesterday, but he's like, oh, I'm doing a Walmart commercial. I'm like, okay, when can you come into the studio? And then he's like, well, Thursday I can. Then we're chatting, going over what we're going to go over. And then his wife was in a TV episode last night called, what's the TV episode?
The TV show is called The Middle.
The Middle. His wife is a singer, Maggie McClure. That sounds just beautiful, just her name. So I don't even know what she looks like. I don't want to know. But anyway, today's special episode is a musician named Shane Henry. He is actually from Oklahoma, from Vernon, Oklahoma. Lived in LA, pursuing his successful music career. You can check him out on iTunes. Another great thing about today's episode, we're actually going to cover a live deal, a real deal that he just got his hands on and brought it into the studio. Shane just fell into real estate. And so we're going to cover questions that he has. I'm going to try to do as best I can, and we're going to learn more about him, and we're just going to try to motivate you today. So when you're thinking about Shane, think of the lyricist, the vocalist for Maroon 5, but ultimately the skill set and the music quality is Stevie Ray Vaughan. So I want to put that in your head. So Shane, let's talk about you and how did you become a musician, and are you broke?
Thank you so much, Steven. Wow, that was an intro.
You deserve it.
That was awesome. So I grew up in Vernon, Oklahoma, and my dad took me to see B.B. King when I was 12.
Cool.
And that experience pretty much changed my life.
Was it in a bar?
It was the Tulsa Blues Festival.
Okay, right.
So I heard B.B. King, I heard Buddy Guy, and Bonnie Raitt.
And so you were 12.
I was 12. And at that point, my dad had played guitar around the house. My dad was a musician. And I'd always been raised around great music. I was listening to the Beatles when I was 4 years old,
When did you get a guitar? How old were you?
I got a guitar when I was like 13 or 14, and it took a little bit, but to really like get super serious about it. But by the time I was about 14, 15, I was locking myself in my bedroom after school.
And just playing?
Just playing.
And
nonstop.
then was it electric or was it acoustic?
The first guitar I had was an acoustic. It was my dad's guitar. It was like a Washburn cheap acoustic,
Sure.
that I was playing with. And but then I finally got the old Fender Strat, I think, when I was 14 for Christmas.
And you're 32 now, so roughly 20 years later, how many records have you done or you've produced that you've put out?
This upcoming record will be my 5th record.
Right on.
Yeah.
I checked you out on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
Or iTunes and YouTube too.
Awesome.
What's this new record called?
This new record's called Light in the Dark, and I worked with 2 producers in LA, Justin Glasgow. He is an amazing producer, also plays drums in a band called The Lone Bellow.
Cool.
And I worked on half the record with him and half the record with a guy named David Ryan Harris. And David was a guitar player in John Mayer's band for 8 years and has produced some insane artists.
John Mayer, I like John Mayer. So
John Mayer's awesome, man.
That's awesome.
There's a lot of people that are John Mayer haters, but
yeah, well,
I dig his music.
They're weak. Anyway, so I love that you just throw this stuff out there. Yeah, I lived in L.A. What brought you back to Oklahoma City? And we're on a real estate radio show.
Right.
You and I met at the RIA called Millionaire Possibilities a couple months ago.
Right.
And tell me, like, how'd you get in? Like, why are you here?
Okay, well, first of all, it's kind of going to be crazy, but Black Mold. Believe it or not, we were renting a house in LA, and we were there for about 3 years. And in May, my wife started getting, she started having nosebleeds.
Oh man,
like crazy, and
just random?
not feeling well, and yeah, the walls were just black mold everywhere, and it was this house that you would have never, like, it was fixed up really nice, but you know,
it was how much? $1,800 a month.
$1,800 a month, and we had this little. It was 1,100 square foot, and 5 feet from our back door was a converted garage into 2 units.
There's 2 people behind you.
2 people behind us, and literally like from me to that wall.
Wow. Where in LA was it like?
We were in Burbank.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's like the movie stuff is there.
Burbank, Glendale area. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. So,
and so how did you pay for $1,800 a month?
I took a job with me from Oklahoma that I've been doing for about 8 years.
Well, okay, what is it?
Oil and gas landman.
Oh, okay.
So I was doing that there as well as
being a musician at night,
as well as playing gigs, playing on sessions, doing whatever I could, to make ends meet. And as you know, in LA, playing in LA, it's like
everyone
every
night.
You don't get paid to play in LA,
but there's a musician playing somewhere every minute almost.
But making money in LA is tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
Man, $1,800 is not easy. All right, so black mold. As I'm a landlord, that's great. Black mold. When I hear black mold, I just shudder. But anyway, you decided to come back to Oklahoma.
We did. We put our stuff.
And then,
storage.
how did you land in storage? Okay, so then how did you land into the Millionaire Possibilities investment group?
Well, actually, when I got back here in June, I got invited to go to the RIA meeting.
Okay.
And, I've always been interested in real estate. I'm kind of a nerd and watch those HGTV shows and, I mean,
Flip
I
this
don't know.
couch.
Exactly. But no, I've always been interested in it. And I've had, my father-in-law's always he's been preaching real estate to me for a long time. And, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad probably a year ago.
Okay.
And that was like, wow, this is really cool. And started reading a lot of books about real estate and had been thinking about it, and I think finally going to the RIA meeting kind of just got me fired up about it. Yeah.
And that was the first meeting you went, and that's when we connected?
No, actually, the meeting we connected at was the Millionaire Possibilities meeting.
Okay,
I think that was like the second or third one.
Time you went to? Okay.
Yeah, and
so then you got this bug. You're like, I can do this.
Right.
But what's your motive? What's your why? Why do you want to do this?
Well, for me, it's like, as you know, the music industry it's a roller coaster ride. There's a lot of the peaks and valleys, and I think it's just for stability, number one. Financial freedom, and to just continue doing what I enjoy, have more time to put into music. So
yeah, let me interject here. One thing you keep saying, as you know, a lot of people don't know that I was in the music business for a long time, and I toured around the country. So whatever, I try not to tell people, but there was actually a band that I worked with pretty heavily, and they're still around or whatever. But his dad was in real estate in Iowa, and he was a drummer, and he never really worried about money. He knew that real estate would fund him. And a lot of people, if you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, but if you read my book, the 2 kids from Tulsa that gave me Rich Dad Poor Dad, that got me on this journey, were in a band, and they were traveling around the country, and they lived for free because they owned a duplex and someone was paying their mortgage payment on the side, and they didn't have to worry about money. And that's actually how I got started into real estate, because I was a DJ, and then I was working with bands, and then I was touring the country. And someone handed me Rich Dad Poor Dad. I would have never read it. I never wanted to read. And then look where I am today. I never have to think about it again. But it's cool to meet someone else on that path, because people that are in the music industry, they're resilient, but they're driven. I mean, because it's 1,000,000 to 1 chance to really make it. And what is really make it, though? Absolutely. Is that what's that? Shake It Off girl, Taylor. I mean, she made it.
Oh, right? Absolutely,
no doubt.
But making it, I think, is different to everyone. For me, it's being financially independent, doing what I enjoy,
right? And spending time with your wife.
Absolutely,
totally. Okay, cool. So you're in this deal now. You want to be a real estate investor, by day, by night, whatever. Okay, and the goal is to make residual income on a monthly basis to provide for what your dream is, and that's to be a musician. And being a musician is impacting people's lives, and it's so cool when people come up to you like, I love your song, or your record's really hot. And so I used to see that a lot, and that's probably why I did the radio show, because I would love to be a performer like you, and you have the swagger. So
oh man,
anyway, so you can make sure you check out Shane Henry. All right, let's get into this live deal that you brought. Now, you already purchased a deal already, correct?
Yes.
Is this the deal?
Well, I have one house that I bought, which was back in 2008, which I lived in for a couple of years, and has been rented now. It's been rented since 2010. But that was a full retail deal.
So you bought a house, and then you moved to LA,
right?
And so that's
and I've kept it, and you
rented it out.
Yeah, it's still rented right
now.
And
you cash flowed.
It's cash flowing like $200.
No, that's insane awesome. So even you were already a real estate investor when you moved to LA.
Right.
So I'm sorry, folks out there. I'm thinking this guy's like brand new. He's already, got a deal done.
But it probably wouldn't be considered a deal.
Dude, anything that is a positive cash flow is a deal.
Right. Okay. Well,
doesn't matter if it was retail. Doesn't matter if it was legit looking and sexy with marble.
Yeah.
You're cash flowing.
Right.
One of my best houses is the ones I've lived in.
Right.
So, all right, cool. So you already got a deal under your table. Did you buy the other day we were chatting? Did you buy that other deal from a wholesaler?
I did.
And did you close that one?
We closed on Wednesday.
So now you have 2 houses already.
2 houses.
So you closed yesterday.
A
week ago.
Wednesday.
Okay, right on. Dang, you're freaking on fire. I mean, when you look at you got this like jean jacket on, you got this like band deal, hat deal. All of you're just down grinding it out. What's your mantra? How are you getting these deals? What are you doing?
Well, I mean, it was basically just showing up. I mean, I obviously have a mentor that this deal wouldn't have happened without his expertise involved. But the main thing for me was like, when I started playing guitar, what do? Go where musicians are. That's
right.
what I did. I went to blues jams. I hung out. I'd sneak into bars and watch bands play, network with people. It's the same thing in real estate. You go to these meetings, you show up, you meet people, and guess what happens? You meet a wholesaler.
That's such a great way to say it.
I mean, it's true. That's what happened. I mean, we went to a month ago, we went to the Millionaire Possibilities meeting and met a wholesaler that had this deal. And
yeah, I looked at that one deal, and I thought about purchasing it. I thought it's a solid deal. It's a corner lot.
Yeah.
But that's not the deal we're going to talk about today. We have another one.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're possibly your third rental property.
No, this is the second one. Sorry.
Oh, so we're going to talk about it anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you want to talk about it?
Well,
you said you were insecure about some things earlier. No offense. I mean, you said you were still a little bit nervous and I understand being a real estate investor is not. There's a lot of risk involved, but what's your questions? What you already bought it though?
Yeah, we already bought it.
So you just want to reevaluate it?
Yeah, but thought we could maybe discuss it or.
All right. Well, I thought it was live, but it's not. He already bought it. Who cares? Let's see if it's a deal. Now, if it's not a deal and I'm about to bust you out.
Love it.
What are you going to do? Try to flip this deal? I got comments the other day. I interviewed the credit card guy. Did you hear that episode?
I did, yeah.
And someone like, man, you kind of went on that dude.
That was crazy.
I didn't mean to. I was like, you sure you're cash flowing? I mean, that's the deal.
I mean,
all right.
That was pretty insane. Like his whole idea, man.
I
was trying to wrap my head around.
You know what's so freaking freaky about that deal? Last night I'm reading about credit cards. Like at midnight. I'm like trying to get stuff done and I'm like, well, balance transfer for 15 months, interest only. No interest. I mean, it's a great concept. There's a lot. Obviously, nothing is easy. I mean, there's got to be a system. I love it when he says algorithm.
Totally.
Every 6 months he applies for a new card. And I actually went after that episode. I went back and talked to a banker. Is that a problem? And he said no.
Right.
If it's managed properly. Like me, when I see credit reports and I see 13 cards on there, I'm like, oh, man.
Insane.
Something's going on here. Right. Like that. There's more to the story, but, Max is a great guy. And if you haven't heard that episode, check it out. Anyway, so let's talk about this deal. It's in Norman.
Right.
Now, so some wholesaler told you about this deal.
Right.
So you picked it up. What's the numbers?
Okay, so we got the house for $67.
Dang.
And
it's worth like $100 something.
Well, I mean, you can't really go by Zillow or the.
True. I mean, you have a gauge.
122.5 on there.
122. So 50, almost 60 cents on the dollar.
Right.
Okay.
And then so we got a loan for $98.5, and that'll include our construction loan because we're gonna have to do.
Okay. Where'd you get the money from?
Quite a bit of rehab. That came from Great Plains.
Okay.
Bank.
I've heard of them. So is it easy? I mean, you're so laid back about it. I mean, maybe it's just your musician casual attitude, but I'm like, by the way, I got to own a house. Okay, let's talk. So you got a deal for $67,000.
Right.
You found it at the local Millionaire Possibilities group.
Mm-hmm.
So you looked at the flyer.
Right.
You called the guy. What was it like interacting with the wholesaler?
It was actually pretty easy. And the reason it was easy is because my mentor has done a lot of deals with him in the past.
Okay, so he knew him.
Right,
okay, so you guys had a gauge.
So that sort of opened the door to this even.
Okay, so you're kind of following along. Okay,
right.
Let's just walk through this because this is going to happen to you out there, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening to this episode, obviously you want to build wealth, and so you wouldn't be wasting your time listening to this, even though Shane's a rock star, but still, you want to listen to this deal. All right, so you pick it up, call the guy, flyer, you set up a showing from the day of that. So the meeting was on a Thursday. When did you go see the property?
We went and saw the property like the next day.
Okay, right on. Yeah. So you go in the property. What did it look like? What was the repairs? What's the condition?
It was in pretty bad shape. I mean,
did it smell?
Oh yeah,
it stank like urine.
I mean, oh yeah. Yeah. I mean,
the stinkier the better.
It had been lived hard in.
Okay. Now, was it a homeowner before? Did you find any of the research?
Well, actually I didn't, but it's funny. I was over there yesterday and we had a plumber come in to fix a leak in one of the bathrooms, and he had a friend that lived on that street and told us the story of the house, which we found out a heroin dealer lived there.
Oh, great. Maybe you can find some extra cash hidden in the wall.
Well, I mean, I thought about pulling that trick on my mentor and saying, "Hey, man, you're not going to believe what I found." And I pulled this drawer out, and there was like $6,000 cash.
That's awesome.
But didn't do it.
But you can borrow an infrared and go through the walls. All right, so. Obviously your mentor helped you, and keep in mind, guys, I'm not his mentor, so let's just get that out of the way. He helped you evaluate what the repairs were.
Absolutely.
And how much was those repairs? Did you figure that out?
We budgeted for 30, but we're going to try to get it done for 22.
Sure. So technically, this is a no money down deal.
Right.
So you applied for the loan. Is it in your name?
Yeah.
And they just, you had good credit, and then there's like, okay, this is a $122,000 asset. Mm-hmm. What's the percentage that you're borrowing at 90? I'll get my calculator out. Do you remember what it is? At 75? So let me look it up. Come on, Math Wizard. Okay. So you could sing and write songs, but you can't do math?
Nope.
No, I'm just like...
And that's really funny, too, because my mom's a math teacher. It's always terrible.
So 122,000 times point, let's say 75% is 91.5. Mm-hmm. So they give you 75%. Got it under contract for 67. This is a rock star deal. Just running the numbers. Earlier Shane was trying to hand me these papers. I was like, I don't want to see it. I want to know the numbers first. My mentor does that to me. But all right, so you get what was your check at closing? 20-something thousand, 27. Okay, so did you take a picture of the check?
No.
You need to take a picture of it. You got to remember this stuff.
I know it.
Okay, so you've cash. I mean, you bought a property, your second property, going from nothing. You just got $22,000 cash on it, and then now you're spending it, and you think it could be 30. And have you ran into any problems so far?
Well, yes. I was over there yesterday.
Okay, what was the problem?
I started demoing the kitchen out. And,
just ripping it out.
Oh yeah, a lot of mold, a lot of flooring gonna have to be replaced, but
it's easy.
It's all doable.
The cool thing about real estate is anything is curable, fixable. Right. It's been done before. That's Absolutely. Why I love about it.
But it was fun swinging the sledgehammer.
So you're doing the physical work yourself?
I mean, just for this first few, I think I'm going to do a little bit of it myself.
Okay, now let's run the numbers on as an asset. What's your goals with this? Are you going to plan on flipping it? You got 90 something in it now. What is the number? 90.
Yeah, we'll have 98.5.
90. So you have 98,000. So you almost got 80% of LTV.
Right.
Okay.
That was where we came out with.
80%. All right. So my numbers were off. I always try to do 70, 75. All right. So you're 80 in. Mm-hmm. Are you going to rent this thing? What's the terms of the loan? Let's start there.
Well, the terms. It'll be rolled into a 20-year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is it on a short term?
It's on a short-term construction loan right now, but then it'll be rolled into.
Man, this guy at Great Plains, they know what they're doing. Who's this guy?
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to mention his name or not.
Okay. Well,
is that okay?
You could text me if you folks out there, and I'll get his name if it's okay.
All right.
Okay. So let's be respectful.
Okay.
I can tell you right now, it probably wouldn't be a problem. Banks, their agenda is to loan money to qualified people. Anyway, and obviously you're qualified.
Well,
and with only your second deal, you're getting a no money down deal. I'm telling you, this is not normal. But hey, next thing you know, your song's going to be on a Walmart commercial.
Exactly.
So right on.
That's another story, right?
Yeah, I know. I could talk to you for hours. All right, so you got this deal. You're ripping into it. What are you going to do with it? What's your end goal in this project? Are you going to flip it? Are you going to try to rent it out? What's your mortgage payment? What are you thinking? Tell me what's going on.
Mortgage payment's going to be somewhere around $800 with taxes and insurance.
Okay, still legit.
And we think we can rent for around $1,200.
$400 cash flow.
Right, $400 cash flow.
All day long with no money down. Infinite return.
That's, of course, not really adding in, if we're going to have property management, et cetera.
Sure.
But so that might bring the cash flow down a little bit. But so I think right now we're gonna rent it,
Rent it out. Okay.
Buy and hold.
Tell me about the size of the property. How many bedrooms, garage?
Here's the really cool thing. Okay. It was advertised wrong.
Ooh, so the wholesaler?
It was listed as a 3-bed, 1-bath.
And the wholesaler
It turns out being a 3-bed, 2-bath.
Wow.
So
was the county assessor?
The county assessor's, it's listed wrong on the county assessor's side too.
Okay. So, and now this property is in Norman, which is an area I don't buy in. It's about 30 minutes south of here, and it's more of a college town.
Right.
Have you had any fear in this transaction, like debt? I mean, how's Maggie? Is she cool with this? I mean, has she seen it when it's stinky?
No, she hasn't even walked into it. She would run.
Great.
The cockroaches would definitely scare her.
There's cockroaches in there?
Oh, yeah.
My wife's not involved. So I learned my lesson once.
But you know what, man? I grew up, my dad's a plumber. So I grew up working for him when I was from the
my dad's a plumber too.
From the time we have so much in common, Steven.
I know, it's weird.
So from the time I was 10, 11 years old, he was dragging me out to help him during the summers, right? And he always would say this one thing that stuck to me. It smells like money, son. Every time I would complain about
smells like money,
smells,
son.
He says, smells like money. So, you just gotta suck it up, stick a mask on,
smells
and
like
get
money,
dirty.
son. So. Man, I'm gonna teach my boy that. You have such a great attitude. Are your parents involved now? I mean, do you talk to them? Are they around? Or?
Oh, of course, yeah. They're still living in small town America. My mom's a school teacher in Chickasha. My dad still has his plumbing business in Anadarko. Yeah.
So, were they weird about you being a rock star, traveling the world? And
I mean, they've always been super supportive.
Cool.
Of me pursuing my dreams, and of course, they wanted me to be home and be closer because I think over the past 3.5 years we would come back a couple times a year or so.
But I mean, Vernon, Oklahoma. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Is there a Walmart there?
No. There's 2 gas stations, and be sure you don't speed because you'll get pulled over. And
for sure, that's how they make money.
Yeah.
And then now you're in real estate. So have you told them that you're trying to pursue real estate to help you fund your other endeavors?
Oh, yeah, they know all about it. And my dad's he's super supportive. He's got a few rental properties, and honestly, I think most musicians out there, I think it's the typical musician retirement plan is have about 5-6 rental properties because
I don't know. Most of these musicians don't know. They just live for today.
There's just there's really no stability in
the
industry. So.
Well, it's super smart. All right, so let's get back to this deal. So, what's any concerns? I mean, you're just so laid back and so positive about it. Most people are scared to sign a loan payment.
Right.
You're shielding your wife from the drama, so that's super smart. You got a great mentor. I've met him. He's a great guy. You got all these things rolling for you. What's next? Are you just going to rehab this deal? What's your timetable?
We're going to try to get it done and ready to rent by Christmas. So
okay.
So it'll be, probably 12 weeks.
Okay, so that's normal.
Yeah.
And you're going to do everything: flooring, carpet, paint.
We're hiring a lot of people.
Well, not you, but to the house.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And so, how about a roof? Do you need a roof?
Doesn't need a roof. We need some shingles replaced on the outer edge, but the roof's good. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Dude, this is super simple.
And,
all right.
And there's a little. It's kind of cool. There's a little one of our ideas on this property is there's a little a garage. It's kind of weird. It's almost too small to park a car in, but it kind of goes up a little, concrete embankment to where the garage is, and I think we're going to try to turn that into a little, studio apartment thing.
Cool.
Or a little bonus living space or study or something. So just to make it a little more attractive.
So what was the defining moment for you when you said, I'm going to buy this deal? Was there any kind of anxiety? Was the wholesaler pressuring you?
Well,
because I know the wholesaler, let's not say his name, but let's just, nothing negative here, because I know he's going to listen to this episode. And I got love for you, homie. I just my goal is to help other people deal with other wholesalers. And all wholesalers are different.
Right.
And they all have a different approach of selling property. And some people are like, I need to know today, where's your money?
Right.
So how was it working with that situation?
Well, I think he's super awesome, and he has a really good relationship with,
cool.
Of course, with my mentor.
So no pressure?
No.
So when you did a verbal, did he try to flip out a contract and say, sign here?
No, we initially said, we went and looked at the property, and we determined what it was going to cost and where we needed to be at, and just told him, hey, this is what we can do. This is
what was it listed at?
It was listed at a lot more than what we
Well, why can't you say it?
78.5.
Well, don't be soft.
All right.
Dude, so it was 78.5 and you got it down to
67.
So $11,000 off the wholesaler, and he still made money?
Yeah.
Do you know what he got it under contract for?
I think I don't. I actually
you don't know.
I would assume maybe around 60.
Cool. No, I mean, I know it gets awkward with wholesalers. Like, oh, what are they? I really don't give a rip. I want people. If you make $100,000 and I make money, it don't matter. Well, it's no pride.
He obviously still made money.
Because this, and this is some advice I want to tell people out there that buy from wholesalers. Listen, and this is not the dog wholesalers at all, but wholesalers, what they're doing is flipping property, and they enjoy it, and they're helping investors like us. But I never get mad that they made 10 on the deal and I didn't make anything, but I have a long-term vision. I'm a buy and hold guy. Right. So, I'm going to make my money over the endeavor of the project. They're going to make their money on the upfront, right. And that's and I buy and hold. I'm a buy and hold investor.
And that's what we're going to do as well.
Yeah. Because why? Because I want to provide for my family. Yeah. And exactly. In your case at this time, provide for your career. All right. So, he was easy to work with, and was the negotiation process pretty simple? That when you just dropped 63 and he said yes?
No, 67.
67. I mean, yeah. So whatever.
Well, what we initially said,
tell me about. Give me some dirt here. Let's get something going on. Let's get some drama. That mother effer said this, and I'm like, you're like too perfect. People are not going to believe this interview.
I mean, it was a phone call, and we said this is what we can do it for. He initially said no, can't sell it for that cheap, and then called back a week later.
So it's a technique.
I'll take it.
The walk away technique.
So
okay,
that's how it went down.
And you weren't nervous, like when you threw down that number, your mentor just held your hand and said, "Don't worry," because I know in your heart, but man, you were like, "I want this deal."
Well, I wanted it, but at the same time, like when I walked through there, I was like, "Holy smokes, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. How are we going to
Did you wonder what it was going to be like to get the loan?
He was just like, "Oh no, it'll be easy. It'll be simple. We can do it." Anytime I would say it's not possible, I think that was even more fuel for him to say no, it is possible. It can be done.
And that's the wholesaler.
No, this is my mentor.
You're like,
because I was definitely a little bit, on the fence. Definitely after walking through it, because I'd seen a few other properties that looked so much better than this one.
Well, plus this is kind of your first rehab,
right? And I wanted something a little bit more simple, a little bit more manageable, like a little paint on the walls, maybe a little carpet, a little cosmetic stuff, and then boom, we can put a sign in the yard and get it rented or whatever. But this one is
going to take a while, so you got holding costs. How far do you live away from the project?
2 miles.
Okay, cool. So you can babysit it every day. Okay. All right. What else? I don't know what else to talk about. Well, seriously, like you're like we've only been doing it for 20-something minutes, so we got about 5 more minutes left. So, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I got some gigs coming up.
All right, let's talk about you being a rock star.
All right. I'm playing October 17th at the Rock Island Depot in Chickasha, Oklahoma. Okay. And I'll be playing out there with my full band from 5 to 6, and then I'm playing a concert at the Overhosier Mansion.
Cool.
On October 24th. Right. And I believe that's it. Maybe 6 or
Do you get any kind of Christmas gigs?
I will. I do get Christmas gigs, and I'm hoping to play more. Actually, my wife and I, we just got back from Nashville. We recorded a new Christmas single.
Nice.
It's really
Christmas
cool.
is hot. Do you have a local booking agent?
I pretty much do it all myself. I've worked with a few around here, but I don't really do. I'm not a cover band.
Sure. Original.
Typically original stuff. I mean, I'll play a few covers, but it's all songs that I really enjoy.
Okay.
Do my own interpretation on, but
but if someone like I say some corporations doing a kind of a cocktail party and they would love to have a classy cat like yourself up there singing a few Christmas songs, how does someone book you?
ShaneHenry.com.
Shane Henry, ShaneHenry.com. All right, well, that's it, man. I don't know. Let's keep this short and sweet. We'll bring you back in about 12 weeks to find out if you because there's got to be more dirt here. But anyway, you can definitely reach out to Shane. He's so approachable and willing to help. That's why he's on the radio show today. And we just connected for like an hour in the parking lot. We were both tired, one eye open. And
dude, it was so cool though, because it was just like, I don't know, it felt like it was meant to be. Man.
Yeah, totally. You were leaving, and
I don't feel like we met out of like.
No, I think I think everything's ordained, and it's definitely a God thing. But I mean, my goal is to help people, and your goal is to help people. I can tell, and you're just really positive, and the main reason why I wanted you on the episode is just to encourage. There's so many walks of life of people out there that people, they lie to themselves that they can't do their fulfill their dreams of whatever that dream may be. Maybe a teacher. Well, you got to have funds. And there's musicians out there. I love musicians. I understand them, and they go through a lot of discipline and pain, and and you're doing it. And I just hopefully that there's a musician out there listening to this today that will be motivated and maybe get into real estate, come to one of my classes, and life is good. I mean, it's that simple. And you're very encouraging. Is there any advice that you would give someone that's just starting out, another fellow musician out there? What would you tell them?
Man, I would just say, like, get involved in your local real estate group.
Right on.
Show up.
Yeah, just show up.
Seriously, I mean,
it's
it
just
works.
that simple.
You got to get out and network, meet people.
That's so easy.
When you're surrounding yourself by like-minded folks, I mean, things happen.
It is so true. I mean, for 10 years, I didn't get this far. I did it all part-time. I DJ'd a lot, did a lot of music stuff for 10 or 15 years, and then got super serious about real estate about 3 to 4 years ago. But I just did it casually, and man, I'm living the dream, and just to get to hang out with people like you and talk about, I mean, I can't believe this deal. It's a no money down deal. Awesome. And I always wonder, I'm like, why didn't this wholesaler buy it? Because I know this specific wholesaler, and he has a lot of property.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, but maybe his timing is an issue for him. Right. And I saw that deal, and I looked at it. I looked it up, and I was like, man, it's just out of my area.
Yeah.
And I don't want to drive down there. But man, I'm super stoked. I can't wait to have you back on. And folks, don't jet. Listen, we're going to end the episode right now, and we're going to put the new record's going to come out. What is there a release date?
Release date will be like November 15th. That's for Kickstarter supporters because this
it's a Kickstarter.
album was done through Kickstarter, but the actual public release will be in the spring of next year.
Spring 2016 on iTunes. Yeah. Right on. So it's going to go to Kickstarter. When is it going to kick off on Kickstarter?
It'll be on 11/15, but I believe it's like you had to have pledged to receive all that. So
right on. Well, I'm gonna get on there, and awesome. I'll put a link on there when it pops up, and I'll buy the record. I actually, it's one of my dreams for 2015 to do a Kickstarter.
Oh, killer.
But this is great, man.
Yeah,
we'll get to spend more time.
I learned all the little tips, man.
I've read there's a couple books I'll need to share with you that I'm reading. That's how to plan it, the incentives, and definitely. You got to get all organized through Amazon to get paid. Yeah. You got to go through this approval. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of intricate parts in doing Kickstarter, and then it may not be successful.
I know.
And then you got to you don't get the money. Right. I mean, it has to fund at a certain percentage.
Right. It has to fully fund what you ask for.
Right.
Yeah.
And you got to promote the crap out of it. And it's an undertaking. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't have a label. I'm not signed, so I have to bear all the costs of making a record. I mean, I raised somewhere around $10,500 for this project, and I'm spending upwards of $30,000 on this record.
Wow.
And that's because I'm doing a real record. I mean, we recorded it in a world-class studio, and it's
it's not cheap.
No, it's not. It's not. And it's like I want to put out great stuff.
So you should only do the best. That's how I like to think about it. Anyway, and it's been a pleasure to spend some more time with you, Shane. And man, if you're out there, folks, get on the internet, go to ShaneHenry.com. And sometime in November, about a month from now, you'll go to Kickstarter and type in Shane Henry, buy the record. He's got something probably for $10 or $20, and support local artists, not only in Oklahoma, but there's so many indie artists out there, and the whole music industry is upside down, and people are stealing music, and artists are truly suffering. They have to tour just to pay the bills, and Kickstarter is a great avenue to help artists get their album out, and the exposure from the Kickstarter community is really cool too, because people all over, even in like New York, New Jersey, that would know you as Shane Henry in Oklahoma City because you perform a lot out here. So anyway, check it out. It's been my pleasure to interview you today again, and it's stoked, and I look forward to talking to you in about 2 months. And other than that, if you like this episode, great, share it, spread the word, post it on Facebook. If you want to hear more episodes, go to SavvyRadioShow.com. My name is Stephen Van Kalmberg. I'm the Savvy Landlord, and go buy assets.
This is song, get your life together. It's time you make a backup plan. You ain't ever gonna make a living with that 6-string in your hands. And I said, there's a burning in my soul that I cannot control. Got a burning in my soul. I'm just a gypsy living out of suitcase.
is what I gotta do. Got a burning in my soul that I cannot control. Got a burning in my soul. I told you once, I told you twice, I can't seem to make it clear. The words I'm singing, the song I'm playing, falling on the deaf ears. This life ain't of my choosing. It followed after me, yeah. So before you go accusing, just let me be. Just let me be. Let me be. I'm just a gypsy living out a suitcase, traveling town to town. And where I lay my head is a new place. You can't stop me now.
Thanks for listening to The Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.